Hello and welcome again. So, as you may have recalled from a previous episode, I believe it was episode 2, the Campervan's sound insulation, sound deadening, thermal proofing, thermal lining, whichever you may wish to call it, was placed on order after receiving the sample pack. So I have now had the 2 boxes arrive full of everything barring the carpet, and the reason for that is I wanted to make sure I've got everything lined and ready before settling on a carpet, and of course dropping in all of the electrical appliances that I'm wishing to hook up. Consideration of getting the wiring in place before carpeting, and perhaps finding later that I should have done something. So I'm hoping to do that the right way around. And as you can see, these massive boxes here ready for me to go. So in this episode I'll be getting into sound deadening and beginning to line this, but before I do that I'm going to unbox these, put them to one side, and I need to start getting the ply liner out of this £500 project van. Thank you. Enjoy the video. So the floor is up, the ply liner floor is up. Doesn't look too rusty in here, just a little bit scratched up. I'm going to clean that up a bit, ready for that gold liner that you saw, which I took out of the box. The ply on the sides and the roof does appear to be screwed in, so I'm just going to get a screwdriver on those, lift them out, and then see where we're at. I'll pause the video at this point, and I'll crack on in just a moment. At this point I don't even know what they've screwed into. I don't know if this has got any kind of lining behind it or not, so we'll find out in a minute. Okay. So we have already had a go at this. It's got the thermal liner on. I'm not sure about the sound deadening behind it. Doesn't look like it. So the question is, do I leave that or do I bring it out? COVID controls. Let's bring it out. I'm taking this out because there is no sound deadening behind this panel whatsoever. So that's going to be an interesting clean-up job. Maybe a heat gun. Anyway, move on to the other side. So clearly someone's had a go at this already. It does have thermal liner in the ceiling above the ply, but it doesn't appear to have any sound deadening. I have noticed in a couple of spots these self-tapping screws that they've used to fix the ply to the body in various spots has punctured through in a couple of light places. So in the roof I noticed before there are a few sort of dimples where the screws just penetrated through to the sheet metal on the top. Question is, do I take this down, put the sound deadening and my new thermal liner instead? Perhaps just leave it as it is for the ceiling. I think the panels are probably more important because you tend to get more sound from the sides, I think, when I'm driving at least. So I'll get the plastics off, I'll clean that up, and then I think we're in a position where I can start lining the sides at least today. So a quick update at this point. So all the plastics from the sides are now off. The ply is now of course off already. Everything's disconnected. Really recommend something like this to just pry off those connectors that attach the plastics to the body. In doing so also did break a few, but I understand from other things I've done in the past they're quite cheap to replace, so I may just get myself a few more of those clips just for when things go back in. So quick pause at this point. I'm going to give everything a quick clean. I won't film that because it can't be very interesting to watch, but I'll get everything cleaned up, and then I'll be right back. And welcome back. So just a very quick update for you. So what I decided to do in the end was rip off the thermal liner that was already in the van when I bought it, and I took away the ply. So with that, I've decided to leave what's in the roof, because actually most of the heat that escapes is usually from the roof and the sides. The sound deadening seems to be all right, so I won't put additional Dodo Matte products on the ceiling. So what I will do is I'll put another layer of this liner on the ceiling before putting the thermal blanket, and then either carpet or clad, I'm not too sure on that, but obviously there'll be lights to go up as well. So in the next clip, what I'll probably get into is just dropping in the Dodo Matte onto the sides and possibly start lining the floor, but I'm going to possibly pause at that point because I want to start running electrical cables for the lights, the leisure battery, the DC to DC charger, so on and so forth. So not trying to get too excited with progress, and just think things through logically and do things in a sensible series of steps. So Aria wanted to be in this video, and she wanted to introduce something for herself, so take it away.
So I've got a channel as well. It's called Aria67, and I do like loads of like funny shorts. So go ahead and I'm giving a shout out to my channel.
So check that out. That channel is Aria67. I'll also link it in the description as well, or I might even just drop a link right up there for you to check out. So just a little bit of fun for a little one, and she wanted to be in my video, so there you go. Thank you very much. Go. Free help.
Bring it in. So as you can see right now, we're just hoovering up all the extra bits that have been left in the car, and all the little plastic bits that are in the car. And I would also like to give out a shout out to Bella, but she's my best friend, but she's not a YouTuber. She will be on one of my videos very soon, so make sure to go check out that. And make sure to smash that like button. Right, and that's all of it.
Thank you.
I can't put it in, but yeah.
It's alright, I'll grab it.
So now if you don't know what's in our shed, it's just like motorbikes and stuff. Pretty soon, he did break his arm off, but if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Once his arm's better, he did break his collarbone, but once his arm's like fully better, he will start to do some more motorbike videos. And I might be on some of them, but yeah, so.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bye.
So, sound deadening, step one. As you saw, I've already had the products arrive. It's got a sticky peel back layer, so all I'm going to do at this point is probably just drop one sheet into each panel on the side, and that should be enough. So What I've noticed as well is that some folks do actually use some form of roller. So this is just a wallpaper roller for, you know, doing your seams and your joins. And that should be fine, just to roll and press that firmly against the metal of the van. So I'm told you don't need to cover the full panel. 50% coverage or roundabouts is fine. Some folks do go as far as paneling or sound deadening the wheel arches, but I'm not sure that everyone does. So I probably won't. So yeah, just on the sides is enough, I reckon. Because in this pack it is also sized for a van this size, as opposed to a long wheelbase like a Transit or a Vivaro or something or other. Round. 2 panels, sound deadened, simple. And the same, I'll get started on the opposite side. So I'll probably leave it there for now. So what I've managed to do, just to recap, we've got sound deadening installed on all the panels around the van for now, including the doors. Obviously going into the voids as well underneath, and the same on this side. So I think next step will be figuring out my electrics and running some cable for those things. I'm thinking actually, because I've noticed there is quite a large gap under both of the outermost seats, the driver and the passenger, not the middle so much. So leisure battery under one side, diesel heater under the other. There is of course this massive void that you don't get on the car version of the Partner. I think it's called the TP. So there's a lot of space there that is kind of just dead, but you can't really get to it other than from the side or behind the seat. So I'm going to have a think about how I can make use of that space, because storage is king in these little micro campers. So next steps, in the next video I'll probably be getting into more of the lining. So I'll probably start with the roof and then work my way down after I've got some electrical cables run, of course. So hello. So took a few hours off to go and check out a car boot, just on the interest that might find some bits that I can use for this van conversion, but not today. Did end up getting lots of toys and shite for the little one. But what I've done since then, and apologies I didn't capture much of this because I did have a dead battery, so I've been charging that until this point. But I've left the ceiling as is. I've already done the passenger side with the thermal insulation. I've not yet done the driver's side, but I have also done the back doors. So what I'll do is I'll just unmount you here and take you to have a look at that. So sound deadening underneath, thermal liner over the top, trimmed to suit what's probably going to be some form of paneling and carpet over that in the future, and in this recess as well. So a little bit tricky to get in and around the various mouldings of the van door, and also the license plate lights, which I've just cut around really on obviously with the insulation, and then refitted those. So pretty much the same on the driver's rear door. Very simple panel just to infill there, and then same to the bottom. Just made that up in a few various different pieces just to fill that void. So we'll be getting the recycled, recycled bottle plastic. It's a bit like loft insulation but safer, to fill those voids as well as going in other voids. And I've started thinking about some of the electricals. So whilst I'm only really likely to be running a diesel heater, that's going to be sat somewhere near the front, I think. I am going to have a fuse board, so I'm thinking the majority of electrics will go from that fuse panel outwards. So things like a couple of LEDs in the ceiling. There's also a distribution panel which I've got, which is commonly used in these, of course, with switches, cigarette socket output, 2 USBs. Also has a voltage indicator on there for your, the health of your leisure battery. The leisure battery itself is probably going to sit under one of the seats, as I've said before. The plastics towards the sides, at the back here and also the back here, I probably won't refit, to be honest. I'm thinking I'm just going to fill the voids and insulate and carpet over that, giving me a bit more space for the opportunity, which is furniture to come later. So with that, what I'll probably do is I'll mount the camera and crack on with the driver's side. May well speed up the footage just to make that a bit more interesting and fly by a bit quicker. So let's just find somewhere I can mount this. And that should be fine. So with the thermal insulation, because it came on a roll as opposed to individual sheets, it's pretty much just been a case of measuring the largest distance across, the largest distance up and down, cutting that shape, roughly speaking, as a square or a rectangle, and then trimming after once it's on the panel. Now, there may be those that are more experienced that would finally get the shape beforehand and cut from that. If you had the ply panels that also fit these gaps perfectly, you could equally do that, I suppose. But I haven't, and this is my first attempt, and it's a budget build, so I'm trying to save on money where I can and time equally, because with us already being 3/4 of the way upcoming to, well, we are 3/4 of the way through February, I don't want it to be too long before I can start using this, and then from that I'll get more experience as to, well, what do I need extra, or what should I have done instead? And I've still got the time then to manage and make those changes. So yeah, so we'll crack on with this rear panel first. I'll just take some measurements. Max, it's 62. It really is just a case of trimming this. Measure twice, cut once. Let's see, 44 and 62. Knife. So much easier in a bigger van. Right. One panel. Well, the backing does tear on some occasions, but it can be worked around, and it might be neater equally if I tore this in parts and married it up to the panel. But to be honest, I've managed not in a reasonable way so far doing just this. So carry on with what seems to be working for me. Okay. Once you've offered that up to the metal, what I found was you can make score lines for trimming and then just take a blade across it like this. Now, I fully expect in the comments or in your thoughts, you might be thinking, is using that blade against the car or the van metal? And yeah, you're right. But this cost me 500 quid. And whilst I do care, I'm not going to get carried away with techniques and methods like it was a 20 grand van. Of course I'd take more care in a more expensive vehicle, but first attempt, budget build. And so I'd probably say it's good enough. So as I said, probably won't reconnect the plastics, but as you probably know, on this side there are two things typically mounted on that plastic. One is the 12 volt cigarette socket and the torch, which I did have, but didn't seem to work anyway. So one of these I'll probably just leave tucked inside for future use. But the 12 volt socket I probably will reattach, and appreciate that's going to be coming off the starter battery, not the leisure battery. So I'll have to be sure to remember that when using it. But I will have other sockets, cigarette sockets and USB points hooked up to the leisure battery. So that I guess could be used for whatever purpose. I don't know. It's better to have something than not. So with this one remaining panel, I'll probably just crack on with that. I'll come back once that's done. The method's exactly the same. I'm not going to repeat the process. Can't be very enjoyable to watch what is quite simply some trimming and just marrying the sheet up to the metal. So yeah, I'll be back once that's done. Okay, so when you left me before, I had just finished this piece. So what I've now finished and done is I've finished the piece here, which is opposite the side cargo door. So piece to the top, piece to the bottom. I'm wondering whether I can make use of this space somehow for some kind of storage, because it kind of does set quite far back. So yeah, could be an interesting storage option there. So not been too bad a day really. So sound deadening is in, thermal base layer is in, then I've got the thicker foam. It's more like carpet, what are you calling it, thermal liner. It's made out of the recycled bottle plastic, I understand. So that's a bit like loft insulation. So then that will be going over the top. I've got the spray adhesive that came in the package as well, that I ordered this all from Campervans, of course. So probably next step is going to be the floor, but I'm going to pause for today. and then get straight back into this on another day. Starting to run out of light, and I've got a few other things I need to do. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave comments, let me know what you think of progress thus far. Should I have done something a little bit different? Have I overlooked something? I'd be interested in your opinions on such things, so that'd be great. Don't forget to subscribe, and with that all being said, that concludes this episode. Take care and watch out for the next episode. Bye bye.